Hello everyone, myself Tanvi Patel, working as Assistant Professor in Computer Engineering Department in Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center. We are continuing with our computer network, in which our first chapter was Introduction to Computer Network and Internet. These are the outlines in which we are going to study about the understanding of Internet, the network age, connection-oriented and connection-less services, the network core, and loss and throughput in the packet switching network. So our first topic is understanding Internet. The Internet is a very vast network of servers and computers which are connected to one another via phone lines, microwave, satellites, etc. Servers are simply computers that store large amount of information whose purpose is to serve the information they contain to other computers. Means server is a simple computer which store large amount of data which are from other computers and stored at one site, that is server. The internet has often been described as the informative superhighways. Generally, smaller networks such as the system found in schools and universities, hospitals, government offices and private businesses are all interconnected to form a large network known as internet. Here you can see that many computers are connected to a switch and the switch is connected via the internet. So the communication can be established and take place from one PC to another. The parts of internet are, it is made up of host, packets, switches, servers, regional IPs, base stations, mobile unit and different types of communication links. The services provided by the internet are communication service and information retrieval service. In communication service, person to person communication takes place and person to group services take place. And in informational retrieval service, it is the World Wide Web, file transfer protocol and Telnet. Common internet-related terms are: the internet is a large network of computers that contain information and technology tools that can be accessed by anybody with an internet connection. Anybody who is at home or at an workplace can connect through internet by having its internet connection. Residing on this network of computer is a huge set of documents which form the World Wide Web, usually referred to just as a web. The World Wide Web is made up of information that is displayed on web pages or HTML documents, that is the hypertext markup language, which is made up of the hyperlanguage. The software that allows the user to click on icons is known as graphical interface or browser. Next is the network age. The network age, also known as the WAN, that is wide area network, is where an enterprise network connects to third-party network service. The network age is one or more boundaries within a network that designates who controls the underlying network infrastructure equipment. Here you can see the diagram of network age. The example of end system are desktop computer, workstations, PCs, web TVs, etc. Here the term end station means the computer connected to the internet are known as the end system. The end system are also known as host because they run application programs such as web browser programs or web server programs, etc. Here you can see the end-to-end connection between the server and the PC, which is connected to the internet. Next is client-server network. The individual workstation in the network are called as the clients. The central computer, which is more powerful than the client and which allows the client to access its software and database, is called as the server. One acts as a client and one acts as a server. In client-server network architecture, certain computers act as a server and others act as a client. Here you can see in figure the client-server architecture. In another term, client-server is defined as a server is simply a computer that makes the network resources available and provides service to other computers when they request it. The client is the computer running a program that requests service for a server. A client-server network is one in which all available network resources such as files, directories, applications, shared devices are centrally managed, stored, and they are accessed by the client. Means the server, which is one type of network, it acts as a main server and it stores all the resources which are accessed by the client. In client-server network, the server provides security and administration of the entire network. Means the server is the central administrator who controls all the client. Here, the processing tasks are divided between client and server. Next, the communication takes place in client and server configuration. Here, the client places the request to the server machine when he wants to access the centralized resource. Means one PC who acts as a client will request to the server and the server will respond back to the client. The server responds to this request, sending the signal according to the client. Advantages of client-server network: it is secure, better performance, centralized backup, and higher reliability. Because one acts as a server and the whole PC are connected to the server, so it is high reliable. And the disadvantage is trained administrator is required. The person who is working on the server, he should have the all knowledge of how to connect with the client and how to control the client. Applications are email clients, web browsers, and FTP, that is file transfer protocol. The next is connection oriented and connection-less services. Two types of services are offered at any layer. They are connection oriented services and the connection-less services. Connection oriented services means this services is similar to one provided in the telephone system. It undergoes the following sequences of operation. First is it establishes a connection, use the connection, and release the connection. Here you can see the figure of connection oriented service in which the connection acts like a tube. The sender pushes bits from one end of the tube and the receiver takes them out from the other end. Here the order of sending bit are preserved. Means the bit which are sent, they are sent one by one in an order. Next is connection-less services. Here you can see in figure the connection-less services. Each message carries the full address of the destination. Each message is routed independently from source to destination through the system. They act independently. They are not dependent on each other. It is possible that the order in which the messages are sent and received may be different. Means the packets which are sent in the network, that can be different in order. The first packet which is sent, that can be received last at the end point, and the last packet which is sent, it can be received first at the end point. Because they are independent, so the order can be changed. Next is quality of services. Each service can be judged by its quality of service. They are of two types, reliable and unreliable. Reliable services are those which never lose data. Means they are reliable on each other, so they does not lose data. They will receive and send acknowledgement to the sender who has sent the data, so they are reliable. And in unreliable, the acknowledgement is not sent to the sender, so it is unreliable. So the sender will not know that the data has been received by the receiver or not. Next is the network core. A core network is a telecommunication network core part which offers numerous services to the customer who are interconnected by access network. Its key function is to direct telephone call over the public switch telephone network. This term is also known as network core or backbone network. Here you can see in figure, the network core consists of interconnected mesh of routers. Means many routers are interconnected with each other to form a network. Purpose is to move data from host to host. The core network delivers routes to exchange information among various subnetworks. Means the information is being exchanged between the subnetworks. Core network usually offers following features: aggregation, authentication, call controller switching, charging, service innovation, and gateways. Next is loss and throughput in packet switching network. First of all, we have to know about the packet. What is a packet? A packet is a small amount of data sent over a network such as a LAN or the internet. Means it is a small amount of data which is sent over a network from one sender to the receiver. A lost packet can be retransmitted on an end-to-end basis in order to ensure that all data are eventually transferred from source to destination. If the packet is lost, then it has to be sent again to this receiver so that it can be transferred to the destination. How fast data can be passed through the network media is the throughput of the media. In packet switching, messages are broken up into packets. Means the message which is sent is broken into small parts, that is packet. Each packet has a header with source, destination and intermediate node address information. Means each packet carries header, the source and destination information of the node. The other part of the packet include data load. Individual packets can take different routes to reach the destination. It gives two advantages. First is it reduces the bandwidth due to splitting data onto different routes, and if a certain link in the network goes down during the transmission, the remaining packet can be sent through another link. Means another route is being defined, so if the network goes down, then the packet will find the certain link and pass to the destination. In packet switching, the packet length is restricted to a certain maximum length. This length is short enough to allow the switching device to store the packet data in memory. Means the packet data are stored in a memory. Two methods of packet switching. First is datagram packet switching and virtual circuit packet switching. Datagram packet switching. In datagram packet switching, each packet is treated independently. They are independent. They does not depend on each other. Packets belonging to one flow may take different routes because routing decisions are made dynamically, so that packet arrived at destination might be out of order. The routing decision is made dynamically, so the packet's order can be changed. The first packet is sent that can be reached last, so the order is not derived. It has no connection setup and tear down phase like virtual circuit. Connection setup is not being established, so the routing path can be anyway. Packet delivery is not guaranteed in connectionless packet switching, so the reliable delivery must be provided by end system using additional protocol. It is also called connectionless packet switching. Next is virtual circuit. Before starting the transmission, it establishes a logical path or virtual circuit using signaling protocol between sender and the receiver. Means it provides a virtual path between the sender and the receiver, and all packets belong to this flow will flow till predefined route. Means the predefined route is decided, so the packet passes in that path only. Virtual circuit is provided by switches, routers to uniquely identify this virtual connection. Data is divided into small units, and all these small units are appended with help of sequence number. Means the sequence number is being given to the packets, so it passes in that sequence only. Three phases take place here: the setup phase, data transfer phase and tear down phase. All address information is only transferred during setup phase. Means the address information of the packet is transferred during the setup phase when the setup is being done. Once the route to destination is discovered, entry is added to switching table to enter intermediate node. During data transfer, packet header, means the local header, may contain information such as length, timestamp, sequence number, etc. When the data is transferred, the length, timestamp, sequence number of the packet is being decided. Connection oriented switching is very useful in switched WAN. Thank you.